Hello and welcome back to TNWKS, the Now We Know show, the show where we discuss a topic of interest and by the end we will have learnt something new and hopefully you will too. I'm Zak.
I'm Buzz.
And I'm June.
Yes, we've got Indiana June back in the studio. And this week it's part 3 of Indiana June's Wartime Memories.
If you enjoy the Now We Know show podcast, support Zak Wylde Productions on Patreon or join our members on YouTube for early access, ad-free content and exclusive episodes.
Hello, June. It's great to have you back in the studio.
It's great fun to be back here, and I hope you'll find it interesting.
Well, I'm sure we will be absolutely riveted.
What was the last time you were in talking about June?
Oh,
Were we in Anderson Shelters or...?
No, it was talking about one of your holiday adventures.
Oh, that was
wasn't
the
it?
last time you were in. It was one of your many trips around the world.
Was it China and Tibet?
No, I
No.
think it was Turkey, wasn't it?
it was turkey.
It was
Turkey.
Yes, not the
okay.
Christmas turkey.
Okay.
No, that's it. And
But
you
in
were,
this-
you were on the camel train to who knows where.
But on the Silk Trail, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
around
it.
the silk.
But in this episode, we're going back to
To-
Wartime Memories.
That's right.
Yeah.
But before we start heading down memory
yes.
lane, it's time for Weird and Wonderful. And I haven't got Weird and Wonderful this
Well, I brought in a weird and wonderful story. And it's
Have
a,
you, Zak?
It's a,
Have you?
It's a story that is actually quite close to us because it was to do with an interaction I had across Facebook.
week. Ooh, please tell, please
So,
tell.
it is April.
It is.
Now, see if your memory is going to serve you well here. What is an event that we are quite fond of that happens in April?
Has it got anything to do...
Easter.
No. I
No?
don't- No. I don't even think eggs are involved in this one.
I mean,
but
might
certainly,
be.
I think certainly large worm-like creatures.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
gracious.
So, on April the 14th, it was
Burt
Gummer
Gummer Day!
And we love celebrating Burt Gummer Day as normal by watching Tremors. which
Yes,
is
do you
Really?
know Burt Gummer, June?
No.
played by Michael Ross.
I did see Tremors years ago.
Mm.
I think it must have been the first one
Mhm.
with big sandworms.
That's
Yeah,
it,
I think.
that's the
yeah,
one.
you got
Yes.
the one.
That's it.
Yes.
Burt Gummer is the survivalist in it,
Mhm.
and he's a very popular character. How many films are they up to now?
7.
Seven
my
films.
goodness.
7 and a TV series.
So, tell us, what's the weird and wonderful
So the
story
weird and
concerning Burt Gummer Day?
So, what came up on Burt Gummer Day was the fact that I was on a couple of Tremors fan groups on Facebook, and I kept noticing that our thumbnail for our Tremors podcast kept popping
the
up.
Now We Know show podcast.
Yeah, as like if you type it in on Google Burt Gummer Day, that's what pops up.
Oh,
Which is
awesome.
really cool.
Awesome, that's really
on Google
cool.
Images, if you type in Burt Gummer Day,
Yes,
you'll
we're
see
there. We're
Buzz
we're-
and Zak
Does that
and
make
Burt
us
Gummer.
number one fans of Burt Gummer Day?
Well,
Well, I don't know.
we're in the
let's put it
mix.
this way.
We're in
We
the
like
mix.
to fly the flag, don't we?
So anyway, of the conversations I was having across Facebook, a name popped up, Eric Goldstein,
Eric Goldstein.
and he took a liking to our podcast, and it was the fact that he was actually the boom operator working on the original Tremors.
Hey!
Yes,
Wow, that's
that was-
pretty cool.
That
That's
was
pretty weird
cool.
and wonderful.
Yeah, it's attached us kind of to the Tremors franchise in a new way.
Yeah, I like that. That's brilliant.
It is good.
That's a
It's
really nice, close to home
Exactly.
story of
You
the
got to
kind
throw
of-
him in the mix.
Yeah, a bit of weird
here
and
and
wonderful.
there.
So anyway, back in the studio with June, and it's Wartime Memories Part 3, and we're going to be looking at today your memories of, am I right in saying, the Hemel Hempstead Statute Fair and adventures spent with your grandparents?
Yes. My granny and grampy. He was
Granny and Grampy.
not grumpy, grampy.
I didn't
Yeah.
say Grumpy, I said Grampy.
No, my dad's dad was granddad, but my mum's dad was grampy.
Right.
So we know who's which. Yes. Well, for some reason or other, I was quite often sent to stay with my grandparents.
Okay.
I don't know if they just wanted to get rid of me and have
That's
some
nice,
peace
isn't
and
it?
quiet to themselves. Any old how. I ended up at Granny's, and I have to let you know that I had a cousin Gerald,
Right.
now departed.
I actually do remember Cousin Gerald.
Well, he was exactly a year older than me. We had both had the same birthday, the 9th of March.
He's Cousin Gerald who used to make the flintlock rifle flints. didn't
Yes,
he? Which is
exported them
exported
to
all over
Canada.
the world. So
Yes.
places where
wow.
they did reenactments and shoot with flintlock rifles.
Is the company still about?
No,
No, he did
It
it
was
as
just personal.
He was a personal
Yeah,
craftsman.
he
who
used to
made-
travel over to Canada or America.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yes. But anyway, he was like a big brother to me. And I was evidently sent to Granny's when I was 1 year old,
So this is just pre-war, really, isn't it?
just pre-war, because pre-war was 1939. But evidently Gerald must have had the measles, because I then got the measles, because we both got put in the put-you-up bed and slept together. So I was not at all well, nearly passed away, but I have still survived now to 88.
Yeah.
Quite rightly so.
Poor Gerald has now passed away, unfortunately.
Not of measles.
Not of measles, no.
Bless him.
But
I,
yes,
I've never had measles.
you don't want to have
I
them.
don't want.
I've had German measles.
Yes,
haven't I?
I've had German
I'm just going
measles.
to take a step back.
That's
away
okay.
from you
That's
right
okay.
now.
You've got my antibodies, so you're
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. So anyway, we were brought up like brother and sister together, and as I got older, he used to tell me what to do, and all sorts of strange things used to happen.
Strange adventures, yes.
Strange adventures.
Ooh, do tell, do tell.
Do tell. Well, one of the nastiest ones.
Oh, straight in for the nasty stuff.
My granny was very determined that you were kept very regular.
Oh no!
Oh,
you mean
What do you mean?
this means going to the toilet, having number twos?
Yes.
Okay.
And we must have
It's a
been
different times back then.
different times. I must have been about 2.5. I wasn't 3, and she would take us to the kitchen and say, "Have you been?"
Okay, this is so.
No.
Is this your great grandmother?
No, just my grandmother.
This is your grandmother. So you've been sent to stay with them,
Yes,
and you've arrived,
and we've got Gerald stopping with me.
and the first thing she does is take you to the kitchen and says,
Have you been?
been?
Because the toilet was out in the porchway.
I'm scared to know where this goes.
Well, unfortunately, only being a tiny person, not really comprehending what she was on about, you would say no.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Right. She would then pull down your pants, bend over, and would insert a piece of carbolic soap, obviously you know where, and very soon you would, yes, go. And then she had to catch Gerald and do the same to him.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
This is not where I thought the podcast was going to go.
Sorry.
It's not that funny.
It's really funny.
It was
I'm
rather,
just thinking of these two poor kids.
it was rather
These two poor
painful.
kids thinking, I'm going to go and stay with my grandparents
Yeah.
for a lovely weekend. And the first thing that happens is you get a piece of soap stuck up your butt.
I can tell you it's very effective if you happen to be constipated.
You know what? I'm all right.
We'll
Thanks.
just skip on that.
You've been.
This ancient...
I've been to
I'm going to ask this question that's coming
Oh,
to
man.
Oh my goodness, this is going to be the funniest start to the podcast. Anyway, okay. please tell me the next time you went to stay with your grandparents,
By that time,
you learned to say yes.
Gerald said, "I think we'd better say yes next time."
Oh, I missed the soapy. Oh no. So anyway, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did you go? So obviously, once that occurred, you had been.
Yes, you definitely had
And
been.
I bet you felt very relieved afterwards.
Gracious me. Yes, well, there was only one toilet and a children's potty.
That's,
So
that's definitely.
whoever got there first.
maybe what? Okay. What did it feel
I
like?
don't want to go there.
We're not going to go.
Rather burny.
No, I don't think he's going to.
Okay.
This isn't the question.
I don't want to take it there for the listeners. No. Okay. Okay.
No, but
Carbolic soap question. Is it a carbolic soap question?
I mean, what is the carbolic soap?
It's sort of red
It's
soap.
like
and
Life Boy, isn't it?
Yes, it's sort of,
I've got some.
but it was known as
But
carbolic.
don't worry, don't worry.
It was stronger than Life Boy, but yeah, yes.
Okay.
So get a knife out.
I don't want a knife anywhere near that.
Cut
Thank
a
you
bit
very
of
much.
carbolic soap and pop it in
Bend
there.
over.
No, thank you. Why are you looking at me with such determination?
Well, it's just the look on your face is just that's a picture.
And then we were only little, so we both got bathed in the sink.
Right, okay.
We had to take turns to be bathed in the sink.
I hope so too with those ladies.
And she would wash my hair with bar soap.
More soap.
More soap.
More soap.
Soap mad.
This is like
Then put it into little plaits and tie it all together with a long piece of tape. And then she said you'll have curls in the morning, which you didn't. You had like sticky up little plaits all over your head.
you really are
Gerald-
painting a picture of when people say they look back to their childhood through rose-coloured glasses. I don't think you do you?
No. Granny also kept a large cane on the wall in the kitchen, which
yes.
used to go on the table when you were eating in case you misbehaved. Otherwise, you get a wallop.
All right. Did you enjoy going to spend time with Grandpa?
Most of the time, I think my granddad used to try and wind Granny up. Because the worst thing he could say, yes, mummy, no, mummy, to her. Don't you call me mummy.
Okay.
But we would go to the allotments. He had 2 allotments. One up the top of, halfway over the railway bridge behind the silicate. He had an allotment.
For those people that are listening, an allotment is a small plot of land where
that
you grow your own
rent
vegetables.
from the council, yes.
And you grow your vegetables, yeah.
So up there was a row of hawthorn trees.
Okay.
Very tall, and they were like wigwams. They went right round to the ground, and you could climb underneath them and hide.
Okay. Well, so that's good fun for kids.
Well, it was good fun for Grampy as well.
Grampy's in there, escaping Grandma.
Because
and her cane.
you could hear
And the threat of carbolic soap.
you could hear her coming
Hopefully not
up,
in tandem.
coming up and shouting, "Charlie, where are you?"
Okay. Oh dear. Bar of soap in one hand, stick in the other.
Grampy would say, "Quick, get round the back of the tree, underneath it." And we'd sit there in silence while Granny came up shouting, "Charlie, where are you?"
Waiting for the threat to pass.
Yes. I bet he was glad when war was declared.
We'd have a bottle
Less
of
of a
water,
threat, it sounds like, than his wife.
a bottle of water, and perhaps a couple of carrots, and we'd sit under there and hide till she went away again.
Right.
Yes, that was good.
That was good fun, yeah.
Yes, we could go down the back of the railway. The Midland Railway was up there, and you could go down the 48 steps and come out the front of the railway and then go back home. And we've been down the 48 steps, Mummy. And don't you call me Mummy.
It's interesting you mentioned the Midland Railway, because the Midland Railway ran past the Midland Hotel
Yes,
in Hemel Hempstead.
the Midland is still there.
The Midland Hotel, which is presumed still a public house.
Yes.
Or, as we say in the UK, a pub.
Yes.
The bridge for the railway actually goes under the road right
Yeah.
in front of it to this day. But it's all filled in.
Oh.
So when you go down the road, you've still got the 2 walls
It's a
either
walk
side,
now, but-
and the bridge underneath is completely filled in.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But it's a walk. You can walk up towards Redbourne, and we used to be able to get on the train and go down to the cricket field down in Boxmoor, next to the canal.
Right, that's the Grand Union Canal.
Yes, the Grand
It's
Union.
that
And it cost a whole
passes through
penny
Hemel
to get
Hempstead.
on the train and go down there.
Right.
Yeah, that was fun.
So-
Redbourne Polly, puffing away with a coal fire on it.
Wow. So you are really painting a picture of. This would be the that'd be mid-1930s then.
Well, 1936 was when,
Yeah.
and 39 was when the war broke out,
yeah.
and I was 3.5. But I could stand in Grampy's garden and wave to the
Steam trains. As they
the
came
train and the drivers. They'd wave back at you.
Well, that's like something out of the Railway Children,
Yeah.
really, isn't it?
Yes, it was. Also, while watching the trains, our Grampy's dog who was named Patsy. She was very big. I don't know what she was, but she was all golden with curly hair. And Grampy would put me on her back and I could ride up and down the garden path.
Wow.
And if I was missing, because she had a big kennel outdoors, I would be curled up in there with Patsy. Nobody would find me.
Nice.
Curled up in the dog kennel.
Yeah, it was a nice big kennel and she had carpet in there. She is buried at the bottom of the garden. I don't know if people living there now actually know that Patsy is at the bottom of the garden or whether they've never discovered her body. But she was a lovely dog, and it's the only one that's ever given me rides up and down the garden.
Pretty cool.
That is
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
That's a pretty cool
Yeah.
memory. So,
Gerald didn't get to ride on her because he was too big.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, any other sort of memories before we start sort of venturing down the track towards the Statute Fair?
Well, Grampy also had another allotment down the town next to the Gade, which was the Gazette offices, and that actually had a door.
Right. So I need to say, for those listening, the Gade is the river that runs through Gadebridge Park, through the
Yes.
centre of Hemel Hempstead.
Before they started making a new town.
That's it. That would meet up with the Grand Union Canal, wouldn't it?
Yes, I imagine so. Yes. So we could go down there and lock the door behind us so Granny couldn't find us.
He's got
Hiding
he's got all
again.
these hiding places.
Yeah, all these hiding places. And before they put the road through Gadebridge Park, there used to be red squirrels in the trees.
Ah, yes.
The whole park was like a wildflower meadow. You could go along the Gade and there were flagstones across it and you could paddle across, which Granny would not have approved of, but you could do that. And then on the way home we'd take a diversion along Alma Road, where the river used to run under the road and come out in the watercress beds.
Ah, yes, because there were quite a few watercress beds around
Yes.
Hemel Hempstead.
Oh.
There used to be some when I was a child. I remember it down in Apsley.
Yeah, I don't know, but the ones in Alma Road, the buses came in, Alma Road came round and stopped in Bury Road. But we'd go round and see my Auntie Clara, who was working for the gentleman who the watercress beds were, and she'd get her wellies on and paddle in the river, cut some watercress, wash it under a tap. We probably still had freshwater shrimps in it by the time we got to Granny's house, but and then go home with the watercress. Or been to the allotment, we'd played in the park, we'd had the watercress, and now they built a college there, and watercress beds are no
They've all
longer.
gone.
They've gone. There used to be a forge up Bury Road, and it used to be nice to go there and see the old gentleman shoeing the horses, you know, and making horseshoes. And that's gone now. There's so many things that were there when I was a child.
You're painting an absolutely beautiful picture of that kind of period, and to think you did all that without the need of a mobile phone or
No
television.
mobile, no, nothing like that. But, you know, they were all little adventures, and we could go and pick. If we went up Swallowdale Lane, there were the big mushrooms there. They've built Kodak there now, where they pulled it down. But you could go up there with our gypsy baskets that my father had bought from the gypsies and get the biggest blackberries that you could ever find. We do that. And all the mushrooms, that's all gone now. We also, because Grandpa had chickens and Belgian hares, or another variety of a rabbit, and we used to have to go and get sawdust. There was a sawmill up one of the lanes. My granddad called it Dark Lane because all the trees cover it. It was like walking up a tunnel. But there was a saw pit there, and the man with the big saw, one down in
One
the
in the
hole,
pit and one
one
above.
like that, saw in
wow.
there. Well, that is another one that's no more. There was so
I don't think they have saw pits anymore with one guy down at the bottom.
no, but
I'm trying to picture that in my head.
there's so many things that have gone now. That
So did you get eggs from the chickens?
yes, we had eggs from which was just as well, and the Belgian hares, because once rationing started, you wouldn't get eggs or whatever. Sometimes, you'd only get one a week or something.
Right.
Like
So mentioning rationing,
that didn't come in straight away.
but that brings us on to really, this is now where suddenly we get to the point where war is declared, which would have been September 1939.
Yes,
And that coincided
with the fair.
with what you wanted to talk about also, which is the Statute Fair
Yes.
in Hemel Hempstead. So for the listeners, firstly, we need to basically point out what is a Statute Fair.
It was sort of like a pass given to a town by the king,
Right.
and this king was Henry VIII.
Well, so right. So if it's Henry VIII, then
He gave us a statute for a fair and for a market and a corn market.
Right,
So
so-
we were very prosperous.
Right, so
in the 1500s.
Right, so the Statute Fair in Hemel Hempstead really does go back for a good long period.
Oh yes.
Now, since you told me about this, what I did is I did a little bit of research, had a look on the internet, and I did manage to find one cutting out of a newspaper about the Statute Fair, but it's very limited of what you can actually dig up about it. And I was
Yes.
hoping I'd be able to find some information from the wartime period, but I wasn't lucky to do that.
I think that time I went to the fair, just as war was declared, that must have been the last statute fair, because they wouldn't have all the lights and everything on with the
Well,
bombers coming over.
That's understandable.
Yes.
So,
I was lucky to have been there.
so this clip, little paper cutting that I found, is from October the 2nd, 1841,
Yeah.
which is all about Hemel Hempstead Statute Fair. And it says,
Well, almost 100 years
Yes.
before war was broken.
that's right. So it says, well, yeah, it would be literally,
Yeah.
literally almost
39 to 41.
it's almost 100 years
Yes.
to when you went to the last Statute Fair.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's just read this. So the Hemel Hempstead Statute Fair, held on Monday and Tuesday, the 20th and 21st. In fact, that would have been September.
Yes, the
because
third
the
week in September
statute
was when it came.
it was granted to be the third Monday.
Yes.
So this was a Monday and Tuesday, and it said this is quite funny. It said the Statute Fair was held on Monday and Tuesday, the 20th and 21st. It was the dullest that has been there for many years.
Oh dear. Oh no.
It said the pockets of Mr. Clark and the rest of the itinerant showmen were not filled to an overflow, though their best exertions were used to gratify the public. Everything passed off very quietly. The rural police were very active, and the few pickpockets and passers of counterfeit coin were so closely watched that they were afraid to proceed to business.
Oh,
A man was knocked down by a gig on Monday, a gig being
it was a cart.
a cart with a horse. So a man was knocked down by a gig on Monday and died from lockjaw on Tuesday. An inquest was held on the body at the West Herts Infirmary and the verdict of accidental death recorded. The corn market on the 24th was the largest that has been held for some time, and the prices were lowered by 3 shillings a load of 5 bushels.
Yeah.
There you go. So that was what was happening
What's a-
basically
what's a-
100 years.
Yes,
What's a
before
bushel
I
of
went.
corn?
Well, it's a measure.
You
of
used to
corn.
get things like a bushel and a peck.
Yeah.
You know, what was it, that Peter Piper
Picked a
picked a
peck
peck of pickled
peppers.
Peppers.
Yeah.
Yes. So
But,
all
no,
sorts
it
of the
was
old,
it was a measurement like
like a ton. You have a bushel and a ton and
Okay.
all different measurements for different
different
things.
things.
But in this case, corn.
This is a corn
Yes.
bushel.
Corn one.
So that was interesting that was basically 100 years before what you're going to tell us about, which is the last Statute Fair before
Well,
the
I
war.
imagine it must have been the last if it was in September and war was declared. They couldn't have let them have all the lights and everything on
Well,
with the
you-
threat of bombers.
You mentioned the lights, so let's go back to when little June, Indiana June, was at her grandparents' and looking forward to going to the fair. Go take us through
Well,
that.
it opened in the afternoon, so Grampy took me down in the afternoon.
And where was it?
It was in Keen's Meadow at the bottom of Adrifield Hill, and just on the edge of St Paul's Road.
Right, because this is interesting again, because we looked at some maps, didn't we?
Yes.
And where the fair was actually held is now housing.
Yes.
The Keynes Field is still there.
Yeah.
And I used to go sledging in the deep snow on Keynes Field.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, I think you pointed that out to me, didn't you?
When I was a kid.
Yeah.
But the actual
Yeah, but
part of Keynes Meadow
it's all
is
built on now.
So, that how far from your grandparents' house was that?
Now, where can I think? From where I used to live in Adeyfield, just walking round to the Queen Square.
Oh, so it is probably a few hundred, about
Not
a
very
quarter of a
far.
mile.
Yeah.
Quarter of a mile. Okay, so you used to walk down
Yeah.
there. So tell us all about it.
Well, the St Paul's Hospital was up the hill. St Paul's Church, where my mother got married, was just up the hill from there, and I was christened there. But they're all pulled down now.
Okay, so
Everything's built on.
Okay, so we've gotten to the fair.
Yeah,
So
we
what
got
is
to the
this fair all about?
Well, it was like fairyland. They had got some lights on, although it was in the daytime, and there's all sorts of things, mechanical things going round, dodgem cars.
You had dodgem cars?
Yeah, they had dodgems.
So it was electric then.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
dodgem cars, from my memory,
we didn't have to have candles. No, we did have electric.
I believe dodgem cars were first patented in 1921.
Fun factoid there.
There you go. So this is obviously 1939. So
And the people, little children going round with pink sort of sugary stuff.
that
I
would be
don't know.
candy floss.
Oh, I didn't know what it was, but Grampy bought me one, and it stuck to my face.
dear.
It was magic, because when it touched your tongue, it melted, and it was all sweety and yummy.
So you liked it then?
Oh, I liked it.
Wow.
Yes,
How did you get on the Dodgem cars then?
I didn't get on the. I
okay.
didn't like
Okay.
the look of those. What fascinated me, although there were lots of little booths with people could play darts,
Right.
or they could throw balls at coconuts.
Ah, that's a coconut shy.
A coconut.
Have you ever
shy.
had a go on a coconut shy, Zach?
Well, my experience in similar kind of things would probably be at theme parks like we've got nowadays.
Yeah.
I remember there was a time at Chessington World of Adventures where I did have a go. You know, they've got those like stalls where you've got all those kind of little tiny games. that
Yeah.
are
Yes.
A
going
lot of these things tend to be rigged.
now, yeah.
Well,
Yes.
no, they were rigged back
Were they,
then.
were they rigged?
Okay.
Okay.
I imagine they must have
I was
been.
going to give you a factoid about coconut shies, but give us your memories, Zach.
So on that front, I remember having to like throw balls into holes, something like that. But I did actually win something. I won. What was it? Donkey Kong Jr.
Oh, lovely.
I wanted a bigger one, but I got a tiny one.
Well, you saying that, I was in America
Mm-hmm.
at a place called King's Dominion, which was a big theme park in Virginia, I believe.
Of course, you went out
yes,
there
I
to
was-
see Dolly Parton's.
Dolly World.
Yeah.
Dollywood, sorry. Dollywood. Yeah, I was out there in Virginia, North Carolina and Tennessee, and one of the trips that I did when I was out there was to King's Dominion, and I went to one of these places where you had to shoot. It was a stack of cups off a shelf,
Okay.
and I reckon these cups, the way they were placed, you squeeze the bottom cup and you put it down, and it created a suction on the shelf.
Yeah.
That's very
So, because
cheeky.
every time you paid $1 to have a
Yeah.
shoot, you could knock them all down apart from one.
One
Yeah.
cup.
And then on my last go, I said, "Can you take all the cups off and put them back on again?" And the guy did. And I shot it, and they all went flying. And I won a gigantic teddy bear,
Oh.
black and white, like panda thing.
Wow.
And it was, and the friends I was with, it was literally, I've got a photograph, it's literally as big as one of my friends.
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
And unfortunately, when they came back to England,
Uh-huh.
the customs officers pulled it all apart to
Oh.
make sure they weren't smuggling drugs.
No! Oh!
they unstuffed the
This is
teddy
a-
bear,
this is
and,
a-
and,
Yeah.
and so they.
I've
they,
been on holidays where
come on.
they've
So they
ripped
dumped
things
it.
apart.
They
No!
dumped it. I
No!
know, but I've got a photograph of it. But that was the biggest thing I've ever won.
Oh, I need to see a
But
photograph of this teddy bear.
I will. I'll dig it out for you. But going back to the coconut shies,
Yeah.
coconut shies. I'm going to give you a tip on coconut shies. So this is very important. If you ever want to have a go on a coconut shy, the way that they are.
Placed.
No, yeah, it's placed. But when I was saying a lot of these games are kind of fixed in order that you don't win.
Yeah.
With the coconut, the little cup that it sits in, behind the coconut, they pile sand behind the coconut. So if you throw the ball and it hits the coconut, the energy is transferred through the coconut. Instead of it flying backwards, it goes into the sand, knocks the sand off the back instead.
Yeah.
So if you want to win, don't throw at the coconut right in front of you. Throw at the ones off to the left or off to the right.
Yeah.
Because if you hit them at an angle, it'll knock it off.
Could you, like, from where you're standing, could you, like, offset yourself from where
Possibly, maybe get a bit of a spin on the ball.
Yeah, potentially.
Like, spin it round, take it out. But if you hit it direct on, generally they won't fall off.
Aha!
So you've heard it here. So yeah, we're back to June and your Statute Fair. So you got coconut shies, you got the darts. I remember the darts when I was a kid. They used to be like you see if you could get the ace of spades. You had to hit the ace right in the middle and things like that.
You had to hit all sorts of things if you were lucky. And some games, I don't know what you had to throw at, but if you won, you got a goldfish in a jam jar.
Oh gosh, yeah, I remember.
I don't think it would be allowed now.
No. They banned all that. When I was a kid, I actually did win a goldfish, but they were in plastic bags then.
Okay.
So
well,
it must have been much better living in a time when you didn't have plastic.
Well, they didn't have any
The nearest
plastic
thing you would have
then.
had of plastic was Bakelite, wasn't it?
Bakelite, yeah.
So you wouldn't have had a goldfish in a Bakelite.
And another thing that comes to mind, you could see the young, well, they hadn't got called up then, so mostly young men, with big hammers trying to see how strong they were by hitting this thing. You know,
sending the hammer up to hit the bell.
Yes, to ring the bell.
It's really funny you should mention that because I went to it was like a village fair. What it must have been like 2-3 years ago now.
Yeah.
But anyway, they had one of these, but it was obviously
strength.
it was like a DIY version of it.
Yeah.
And I was apprehensious to give it a go, more because
You didn't want people to think you were a wimp.
I knew how hard I could hit things.
Yes.
When it comes to this type of effort, and I was like,
I want to ring the bell.
I'll give it a go. Give it a go. Just test it out. Which I was persuaded to do, and I did. And it's like, okay. And then everyone's like, oh, Zak, that didn't
Wasn't
like,
very
go up.
good.
Yeah, I was like, okay, don't worry. All right.
That was just a tester.
That was just a tester. I've still got 2 more goes. But if you want me to properly hit this, I am not going to take the blame if I break it. And what happened? I took a massive swing at this blooming thing you had to hit.
It's a stumpy thing.
And I buckled the whole arm of it. So completely ruined the entire thing for like the rest of the fair. I was like, I told you. And no, okay.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, well.
So,
I got some Haribo.
it's very interesting, though, how, when you think about it,
Yeah.
where are we now? 2024. So, we're talking about experiences not far off 100 years from when you were at the Statute Fair. And these kind of games have still... Some of the games are still perpetuated, where the other ones have gone by the wayside. So, obviously, we've lost the goldfish now. They've gone, and rightfully
you wouldn't be allowed now.
Did they have gonks?
No.
They
What
didn't.
is a
remember.
gonk?
Oh, a gonk. Well, when
The only time I've ever seen gonks was when we lived in Adeyfield, when my dad got moved to Hemel Hempstead, and people's cats kept getting this.
Oh.
they always,
And the gonk was covered in fur over a toilet roll holder.
Right, let me explain. They used to have this saying, so the local cat population would always go down when the local fair came to town. Okay.
That's a saying.
That was a saying.
They nicked the cats,
They nicked the
killed
cats,
them, and
used
made
to
them
skin
into
the cats
gonks.
and turn them into gonks. Now, I've got to say, I don't remember ever winning a gonk that was covered in cat fur.
Okay.
But I do remember winning gonks that were covered in rabbit fur, because obviously these travelling showmen could obviously get rabbits from all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And to explain what a gonk was, I'm sure some people out there don't know, but
Still might have a gonk.
it's a toilet roll, the cardboard tube from the centre of a toilet roll, okay?
Okay.
Covered in fur.
They'll glue fur around it, and then glue onto that a little beaky face, which was like a pointy nose with 2 eyes, just made out of paper.
Okay.
Okay, and then they'd have shelves of them behind whatever.
And you could win a gonk.
Whatever game you were playing, if you kind of cocked up and lost,
That's what you got.
you'd win a gonk. and he well, it wasn't until many years later I was thinking about it. I was thinking all these toilet rolls were what they were just the leftovers from them when they were going to the toilet. So there's all these little kids treasuring this second-hand toilet roll covered in either the fur of rabbit or cat fur.
Because
I go,
people's cats
I've got
all
a gonk.
disappeared.
I want a gonk.
I have a question. Why?
Well,
Well,
it cost them nothing
It cost
to
them
make.
nothing to make, did it? In between shows, they were probably just eating the rabbits and making the gonks.
Oh, I wonder.
Save your toilet rolls for
can-
the gonks, everybody.
Can you buy them now?
No.
I'm going to have to Google and
I
see if I
shouldn't
can find a
imagine
picture
so.
of a gonk.
Like I imagine, like you won't get like a brand new one or anything unless you make
No.
one, but
No, I mean,
like second hand on eBay or something like that.
and when the fair was in the ladies would come round with baskets of wooden flowers or pegs or different things. But
Anyway,
They're just selling them.
yes,
Okay.
right, so you're down there. You've got all these wonderful different games and things. And things. You mentioned the Dodgems. Did they have rides there? So this is kind of like
Well,
that
there's
kind of
sort
an
of cars.
amusement fair.
yeah, cars that mostly young men would be riding round, bumping into each other because they called them bump-on cars and different things. And there was small roundabouts for little children. But we came round a
There,
corner.
I've googled it. There's a gonk.
Let's have a look.
Now I'll tell you what. That reminds me of like a furry owl or a critter from Critters.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were basically a toilet roll.
It was a toilet roll.
They
we
actually
found.
look really cool. I was sceptical when you started talking about it.
No, it was basically.
It looks like a furry McFlurry.
Anyway,
But when you said gonk, I thought like a gonk droid. But obviously
gonk
that would be way before
no,
Star Wars.
This is a
No.
toilet roll gonk.
No.
Anyway,
No.
sorry, June.
So
We've kind
there
of
we
taken
go.
over with the gonks.
Kind of looks like a Chewbacca, doesn't it?
But
So
anyway, we came round the corner, and there were the galloping horses. Oh,
now hang on a
I've-
second. We're not talking real horses.
Not real horses.
Because I know what the galloping horses are.
They were replicas of horses.
They're hand-carved wooden horses, aren't they?
Yes, with
on,
all sorts of pretty painting all over. They all had a name
This is on a big merry-go-round.
on a big merry-go-round, and they had like golden twisted poles
That's it.
going up to the ceiling, which went up and down. And you had to hold. Grampy had to
Right,
hold
so-
me
and,
and hold on to
Did
the
it have
pole.
Did it have its own fairground organ playing? At the
I
same
had
time?
music playing on there.
So
yeah.
I'm just imagining it's incredibly colourful, handmade, because all those
I
horses
think it
were
was
hand-carved.
sixpence for a ride. I don't know.
Yeah, and it would just go round. They usually had what, 2 or 3 levels of them, didn't they? Get from the outside to the inside.
Well, yes, but I don't know whether they didn't turn it on as
so
fast as.
you were
but-
obviously stunned by this then. Yeah?
Oh yes, Grampy. They said he could hold me in front of him so that I didn't fall off because I was only 3, and it was really enchanting.
Oh, I can just imagine this little
Real-
Indiana Jones going up and down the horses. The
They
fairground
went,
music.
They went up and down and round and round as well.
Can you
Wow,
can
that's
you
brilliant.
if you imagine the Lost Boys
Yeah.
when it starts and they're on the
The
fair.
Ferris. It's not Ferris wheel. Carousel.
That's it. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Carousel, which we call a.
Well, it was a big roundabout.
Can you think in your mind's eye the music,
Yeah.
that fairground music
The
A magical sound.
The
Yeah.
musical, the lights were flashing,
on
and,
the carousel? That's it.
and the horse was going up and down and round at the same
Have
time.
I ever been on one of those?
I don't think so.
Zach, okay, we're getting to the future time now. If anybody says to you it's time to go to the carousel, don't. It's the carousel.
Oh,
Oh, no, that's where you
No,
get
no.
transported to Never Neverland.
That's
Yeah.
Logan's Run. That.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh, yes.
Dear. Oh
Yeah.
dear.
No, you've
That
done
went dark quickly.
Yeah. When
That's a different type of
light,
carousel.
when your light went out on your wristband, that was your end of
That's
you.
it.
No.
Not that type of carousel.
We got a runner.
You've got a runner. Quick, send a Sandman.
No. So
Oh,
so I had a lovely ride, and if I was running out of money, because I didn't have much, because Friday sixpences didn't very often turn up.
Right.
Because if you looked at my father sideways, he'd deduct a penny,
And then you wouldn't have your.
and then I wouldn't have a Friday sixpence.
Oh.
No, I couldn't go to the pictures because they were ninepence. I had to save up for 2 or 3 weeks if I couldn't never see a serial. And he wouldn't let me have a job in Woolworths when I got a bit older because he said it was demeaning.
Dear.
I'd love to have been demeaned for 10 shillings for a Saturday, but I wasn't allowed.
So we were at the
So,
fair and you
at
were
the
limited on funds.
I could only join in sometimes in the Gazette, the big competitions.
Right.
And once I could read or write a bit, I was a bit cleverer, and I could win a half a crown, which is 2 shillings and sixpence, saving stamp.
Right.
That's 2 shillings and six. That's 5 weeks' pocket money.
Right. Okay.
So we could get. There was a roll of pennies.
Right. So this is another game at the fair.
This is the game at the fair.
Roll of pennies.
Yes.
I think.
It was a big round place, and it got like little. About this size, with penny, tuppence, threepence, or
Right, so
sixpence.
it has lines.
It has
drawn on
lines, and you've got this thing that you put your penny in.
It's like a little
Shoot.
a little thin chute that you put your
Penny.
penny in sideways, and then when you let go, it runs down the
Yes.
chute, and then it rolls
If you're
out.
lucky, it lands on something more than a penny.
But it has to land between the lines,
yeah.
doesn't it? So
Well, I was quite good at that, and
That's interesting.
I might sometimes get myself a sixpence or something, and I could go and have another ride.
now you told me you'd worked a knack out on that.
Well, I was quite good at it.
Right.
Yeah. So that was the only way of making money, apart from Uncle George and the half a crown stamp.
Because they kind of have mod ones. You remember when we've been to modern arcades?
Yeah,
They
the
have like a-
seaside, yeah.
They have like a conveyor belt machine. It's
Yeah.
a conveyor belt comes out, and if you get your
Penny in the
2p
right place, it will
to
knock
the right
something off.
place, when it comes down, it'll then kick
Yeah.
out.
No,
whatever
this
Yeah.
just rolled out
Yeah.
on the table onto these little.
This is much
marks.
more.
Yeah, I am a basic, yes. But yeah, I think I do remember something similar,
Yeah.
like your modern.
So
modern
you used to basically
Well,
nail that one, so you could
I
go
did
back
that.
on the
I mean, I went
carousel
to
again.
the last one. Yes, I think the last one was after the war finished that I went to, and I could still roll the pennies and things down.
So was that kind of like a sort of golden moment of going to this Statute Fair?
Well, this was the first time I'd been.
Well, I would imagine.
Yeah,
for you at
and
that
Grandpa had
age.
taken me on the galloping horses,
Yep.
which was wonderful.
And then to suddenly then it stopped
it stopped because
because of the war. That
Yeah,
must have been
'cause-
quite a wondrous experience. But then it was taken away for
well,
you.
that was it, because it was magic.
Wow.
You've got those strange-looking people wandering round, and all these different stalls doing different things that you've never seen or heard of before, and all the
That's
music
the
and
carnies
things.
for you.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, the big old fairground organs going.
Oh yeah, and I went down the helter skelter.
Oh, helter skelter.
I did get some
Now,
splinters in my arm.
I like a helter skelter. Yeah.
Now
you
remind
have to
me,
be careful of helter skelter.
What is a helter skelter?
Firstly, because
It's like
obviously
a
Indiana June just said she got splinters. They are made of wood.
Yes, there's a big tower.
It's a big tower.
How
So
big?
like a lighthouse,
A
Yeah.
lighthouse tower. Okay.
but not quite as big as a light.
Not
It would
that.
have to be built sectional in order to be transported from town to town.
Okay.
And so it's a big tower,
Yeah.
and
You take a mat,
you get like a
doormat,
doormat.
and climb up the stairs carrying your mat,
Now the stairs are inside the tower,
and they go round
and it's
round.
a spiral staircase
Okay.
that goes inside the tower all the way to the top.
Mhm.
And then when you get out the top,
You've got to put your mat on the top there, and you've got to very carefully get on the mat, and then push off and whee.
because on the outside of the tower there is a chute, so it's open top chute. It's not. You imagine if you go to an aqua park these days, and they have
Yeah.
the plastic tubes.
Or for the slides.
It's for the
Yeah.
slides, yeah. So this would be a wooden one, so it's half a square,
Mhm.
open top, and they kind of had wooden runners in it, didn't it?
Yeah,
It wasn't just a flat base; it had
No.
like wooden runners, and the mat would
'Cause
scoot
it-
down there, and you go round
because
this
it was coconut
spiral-
matting. It was just a doormat.
just
to
a
me.
doormat that you would then go down the spiral chute on the outside of the
Very
tower.
fast.
Very fast, getting faster and faster and faster until
And
you
that's where I
shot out
got
the bottom.
splinters.
Got war
And it was
wound.
called the Helter
That's
Skelter.
pretty cool. Do they still have those?
I don't know.
believe the last one I saw, and I'm sure you went on it,
Yeah.
was Clacton Pier.
Clacton Pier. Oh, I can't remember where the hell.
I've got a
is that?
picture of me when I'm
Clacton.
2,
Clacton is-
paddling in the sea
Clacton's
by the
Essex,
pier.
isn't it?
Because I do remember going on
I think that
one.
was.
I
I think it was Clacton Pier.
was like
unless they had one at Skegness, but I can't remember one at Skegness.
wasn't it like you paid like what £5 and you got like 10 goes or something,
Probably.
something like that. But yeah, that must have been
And there were swinging
quite a
boats.
while ago for me.
Swinging boats.
There were swinging boats.
Ooh,
Now that's something that actually has managed to
that's
transcend.
perpetuated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the swinging
You've got to
boats.
cross the ropes and then...
One
it
pulls one
really-
rope,
yeah.
one pulls the other
It
rope.
was only me and Grampy, so he had to pull most of the pulley.
they
And
still-
then the man lifted up the big wooden,
Bar.
yeah, like a bar, and that caught the bottom of the swinging boat and stopped it.
Right.
Yes.
Because they still have those at Tewkesbury Medieval Festival.
Yeah.
don't they?
Well, I'm not sure now, but
They used to for many
did.
years.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
going on that as like a
So-
yearly thing.
So that is another traditional ride that actually lasted.
Yeah.
I think one of the last times I went on one of those must have been, I think it was fireworks night down in the village.
Oh, in our
at
village.
the pub,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
There was
that's quite
such
fun.
a lot of wonderful things, but some things that Grampy thought weren't suitable.
What you mean, like the rifle ranges?
Well, no, I couldn't do things
Be
like
like
that,
hot
and I wasn't
fuzz.
much good at trying to throw balls at things, knock things down, or whatever.
But your paramount
The thing
memory,
was the galloping
the
horses.
galloping horses.
Yes.
What a fantastic memory that
Yeah,
was.
yes.
So that's it. So that's your memories of the Statute Fair.
Well, that's the Masters of Fair. But then sometimes Grampy would take me to the pictures.
Oh, excellent.
The Princess Cinema, because there were 2 cinemas in Hemel, Luxor. I think there used to be 3, but I could either see Abbott and
Abbott and Costello. You got me at it now.
Costello.
Abbott and Costello.
Not
Yeah,
Costello, which is a cheese.
Yeah,
Okay.
But
I
Costello.
wasn't all that
Costello.
keen
Costello,
on them.
yeah.
Old Mother Riley
Oh, Mother
and his
Riley.
daughter Kitty, which most people have never heard of. It was a gentleman dressed up,
Okay.
and he was having adventures.
Times don't change.
Laurel and Hardy
Okay, classics.
Yep.
and Charlie Chaplin. I never thought Charlie Chaplin was very funny, not even trying to eat his boots or things.
Eat his boots. Nice.
I suppose these things have just got to kind of be watched. Just to
Yes.
kind of,
Yeah, we've got to be what. Now, it came Christmas time. If Grampy had got enough money, because my dad never came to London with us, we would get on a coach to go to London, and we'd go and book up to go and see the Crazy Gang or
Oh
something.
yes, the Crazy Gang.
What's the crazy gang?
Well, they were a group of comedians, and Two-Ton Tessie O'Shea and the ones that sing in the Home Guard thing, Flanagan and Allen and Lupino Lane and all sorts of different people. We would go to the theatre in the night. That was a big treat if we did. But it always used to make me wonder, why did Granny have to keep going to the toilet?
Okay.
Too much carbolic soap. I think.
was gonna say
think
that.
we've gone round in circle now.
No,
So why did? This is at the theatre.
no, before we got to the
Oh
theatre.
right, before we got to the theatre.
Because we'd go and perhaps buy some things for Christmas
Okay.
in the big
Ah,
shops.
Right, okay.
Not that we'd ever buy anything too expensive, but we were always having to go to the underground
Okay.
so she could go to the toilet. And it wasn't until years later I found out. I said to my mum, "Why did Granny have to keep going to the?" She was in charge of the money,
Right.
and it was in a bag round her neck, pinned to her vest.
Right.
Oh. Oh, so she wasn't actually going to the toilet at all.
She wasn't
She
going.
was going to extract money.
She was going into the ladies to undo her frock or whatever, and unpin the money, get some out. No, she wasn't incontinent. She was in charge of the dosh.
There we
Well,
are.
that's good security for you.
Oh, it was definitely. I mean, she was 5'3" if she was lucky, and she was 60 inches round her hips. She was 3 inches taller than she was wide. And she'd say, anybody does anything, I'll give them a doughboy, because she didn't half have some muscles.
Blimey.
Apart from the cane, it was a doughboy if you're not
It was
careful.
a punch.
Yeah. But I did unravel the mystery of why Granny had to keep going to the underground. Yep.
There you go.
She was in charge of the pennies, and so that was it. Going back to doing naughty things, I'm not sure in one of my other podcasts where I said Grampy was going to look after me while my mum and Granny were going shopping.
Okay.
Would you like to do some painting? Yeah, I'd got a pale green linen dress and white sandals. Well, he poured some creosote into a tin and gave me a brush, and then he got up the step ladder because he had tree trunks with the lines on to hold the thing. And he's up the top, and I'm getting splattered with creosote all over my dress and my sandals and me. And he's creosote in the top. Evidently, it's been banned now because it gives you cancer.
You can't use creosote now.
You can't
Yeah,
use
but
creosote.
what is it? Like a paste or a paint?
It was a
No, it's like,
preservative. You know
like
when
a
you-
green.
Yeah,
no, not green.
It was brown.
Brown.
Browny black. It's like when you have the in the UK where you have telegraph poles and they're dipped.
And they're
in,
brown.
They're dipped in
Tar?
tar. Yeah.
Okay.
So creosote is like
Yeah.
a watery.
Yeah.
It says the same sort of smell as the smell you get from.
All fences used to be
From those-
covered in creosote when you.
Tar.
Yeah, it's like tar. But the smell you get off of the telegraph poles. That's what I was trying to say.
You know when we're going up to Auntie Linda's.
Yeah,
and
go to Arlington,
uh,
Lincolnshire. They always used to be just outside
Yeah, they
Boston.
did,
the
yeah.
yeah,
smell.
and you could smell it.
So
Yeah.
that's exactly what it smelled like.
Yeah. Anyway,
And once that's on your clothes, you ain't getting it out again.
the dress was never the same again. By the time they came back for shopping, they went absolutely berserk because that was my new nice dress. It was all covered in brown. I was covered in brown, in
Oopsies.
spots, and my white kid sandals were also got brown. But she enjoyed it.
Yay!
Yay.
Well, that's good.
There we are.
Right, one final thing. Gerald had come, so we were stopping for the weekend. Granny had gone shopping. You look after June and Gerald. Yes, they'll be all right. Evidently, Grampy went to sleep. Granny came home, and there's Gerald dancing up and down, laughing and clapping his hands. And I'm completely nude on top of the cupboard, dancing.
I'm not sure I want to picture that.
We both got spanked.
Oh, dear.
And
Well,
Grampy got woken up.
did he get a doughboy?
He didn't get a dope. Yes, but I think Gerald was quite a bad influence on me at first.
Get up there, June. Dance.
I said-
Dance like you've never danced before.
Yeah. I said, he's the only male who's ever seen me in the nude dancing on top of the cupboard.
What age was this?
Well, it's about 3 or 4.
That's all right.
He'd be 5.
That's what kids do, okay? Because it's innocent.
We won't go into jungle showers.
No, jungle shells.
No.
Let's not do that. Anyway, so wonderful stories, and it's been an absolute trip down memory lane. It's been a fantastic.
I hope it's taken an hour.
Yeah, and I've had such a laugh as well. I'm not going to get over the carbolic soap.
No,
I'm
it took a bit of getting over, I tell you.
I'm going to look at soap in the same way again.
Well,
Anyway.
you know, if you're ever constipated,
I don't
I'm
wanna-
sure
I'm not
Tina
gonna-
will help
No,
you.
no, I'm not going that
Do you need a
way.
helping hand, Buzz?
No, I've been, thank you.
Yes.
Oh,
That was the thing to say, Gerald. I think
I've
we'd better
been.
say yes.
anyway, to round, this is terrible. Anyway, to round off this week's podcast, we always finish off with our last little segment, which is
Wisdom of the Week.
yes, wisdom of the week time. And this week's wisdom is never try keeping up with the Joneses. The reason is because the Joneses are probably in debt.
Ah,
So
I don't
that's-
get it.
You don't get that?
No.
Oh, think about it.
well,
That is wisdom of the week.
if the Joneses
doesn't
have
need
to
to be
have
explained.
everything and they spend all their money, if you keep up with them, you'll spend all your money.
Yes, they're probably in debt to have all their stuff.
Wait, what have they got?
Oh,
Well, they
you've
might
ruined wisdom of the week.
How have I ruined the wisdom of the week? I'm
they have
confused now.
everything you desire and get yourself into debt.
It's a phrase used, don't keep up with the Joneses. When you see somebody and they have got a posh car, they're going on posh holidays and they're doing this and doing that, and you think, oh, if I wish I could, and so you try and strive to emulate what you think you're missing out on, and then that can get you into financial difficulty. But in reality, the Joneses are probably strapped
Knee-deep
in debt. So never try and keep up with the Joneses. So there you go. You've learnt from Wisdom of the Week.
I feel so
Enlightened
by that.
Good.
wisdom.
I'm glad this week's Wisdom of the Week has
have
had
a
an effect.
constipation.
No,
cure.
we don't.
No.
Leave the soap out of it, okay? No more carbolic for you, Granny.
Thank you so much.
That's it.
I hope you've enjoyed this little talk.
We have.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe to this channel and comment below any suggestions of topics or activities you'd like to listen to in future episodes. That's a helter-skelter goodbye from Zak.
That's a carbolic free zone goodbye from Buzz.
And it's a Galloping Horses from June. Bye-bye.
You can find the Now We Know Show podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music and Apple Podcasts. Keep up to date with everything ZWP on Facebook and Instagram, or visit the Zak Wylde Productions website at www.zakwyldeproductions.com. And remember to join us on Patreon or become a YouTube member for early access content and exclusive episodes.